just standing here, waiting for my honey. Hope she will come for having much fun, but she's not here.
Time to take some more paint off. It's been a while. I pulled out the aircraft stripper and the hood. We'll see if we can get some paint stripped off of this and get it primed and sanded and ready to final cover with orange. After a lot of steel wool and aircraft paint remover, we've got majority of it off and should be able to go with the rest of it with sandpaper. That's what I started to do here, but it's still kind of gummy, so it gums up the sandpaper pretty quick. I'm gonna let it harden up, move on and do the rest of the hood with a stripper, and then once everything is off and it's hardened, then I'll go back at it with the sander, probably a dual action orbital sander. Garage door is open. Trunk lid is on sawhorses. We're going to take the paint off this thing. The end of an evening. The last of the aircraft stripper took off the top coat, but did not get down through the primer even with steel wool. The rest of what you see on here is a experiment Max Strip paint and varnish stripper. It's not toxic and tough. We'll see. The directions are put it on, leave it overnight if you have multi-layers of paint. So while that was churning away, I had a number of instruments of stripping that I was using over here. Using that to take off the residual paint and primer that the stripper had left, at least most of it. Also used this tool with that paper along the edges down there and around the back and the other side. And then finally the DA sander with, I'm not sure what grit that is, 80 grit, something like that. And that's what got us down to basically bare metal. Hope is that this stripper will do its job and I will have this trunk lid without paint on the outer surfaces like the hood, and then I can shoot them in epoxy primer at the same time. This is probably the best that the aircraft stripper can do. I put down a really heavy coat and it took the black off. Then I put another coat and it really, maybe in a few spots, I mean you can see some metal underneath, but for the most part that red oxide primer is a beast. So the next thing to do is go at it with that attachment and we'll see what happens. It's all dried off. You can see there was some Bondo work back here, which corresponds, interestingly enough, to the ding in the back of the tail panel, the nice chrome and black strip that goes between the tail lights and the body underneath. So paint stripper weakens that. It should come off and then be applied. Hopefully there's not too much on there. So the Bondo is gone, and yeah, I'll have some work to get some of those low spots back up again. And now I'm going at the primer with that stripper attachment on my drill. I've got a stack of sandpaper, so maybe I'll go with that for a while instead. A little easier on the hands. So after, I don't know, 3 hours going at this thing with wire brush and stripping wheel and DA sander, I think we've got it to the point where we can shoot epoxy primer on it. Hood has been thoroughly wiped down until the paper towel is basically clean. Same thing with the trunk lid. The other thing I did, well, that's a teaser. We'll come back to that. So I've got a gun hanging ready. All I need to do is hook up the hose and it's good to go. Regulator set. I've got the primer catalyst, Eastwood epoxy primer, and I've got a mask somewhere. I'm gonna put long sleeves on, filter, stirring stick, measuring cup, cup to dip and pour with. I'm all set. Oh, that was part of the clue there. Oh, maybe you got it. The mask is still on, but the primer is on the trunk lid. A little heavy, a little close, got a little drips there, but that will all sand off. And then the same thing with the hood. Unfortunately, you can see in the reflections that got some body work to do in that. Much easier to see, obviously, when the primer is still wet and shiny. I'm going to pick out the dings and such that are on there. Alright, so I love this color. It's not Hugger Orange, but it's close to Fire Mist Red, which was a 64 color. Yeah, gonna have to think about the final color of the car again.
So I drink another beer to show it all away. Oh yeah, beer after beer, I'm still standing here. Hope that the one that my Mary will come.